Hey, it's Spence. It's Sunday Funday, and I decided to do something different today because I was going to make a short video to announce what I've just released or what I'm going to release in a second. But I thought it'd be more fun to do it live. I don't know if anybody's going to actually see this because it's spontaneous and it's Sunday. But here's what I've got. I've been working on the Fluent Community Customizer and the features, and some of the things that are really awesome, I just want to share, are really part of the process that makes WordPress so amazing. And that is that with today's tools in the AI, you could take something that exists and expand upon it. And what I've been working on in particular is how I can tie together all the components of the minute launch software bundle, concierge support, and so forth into a system that allows you to do more of what people are asking for. In this case, the community and the capabilities of the community are really amazing because with Fluent Community, you can do stuff that's been a real drag with Buddy Boss and having to go to third-party apps. But there's features that are constantly being asked. So today, I've got a new release on top of yesterday's release that I want to show you what it does. Hi, Alex. And this gives me more continuity. So let me show you what's cooking because I'm going to actually take this like 2, 3, 4 steps down the road. I'm kind of like tingly on the back of my neck. First of all, I want to show you on the back end. The customizer now, version 1.54, has all of the same controls as before, but I've reorganized what we can do with the header content area. And so what we've got is the option to make the header full width, puts that up. That's the thing that allows you to mostly brand your community instead of it floating in its own box. And the menus, as you can see, are organized and properly set up in a way that I prefer. But all of these controls at the top for showing and hiding, moving menus, the default stuff, makes it full control. The show header allows us to put whatever we want as the header, but in this case, I want it to go full width, and that makes it super easy. But that's not what I've changed. What I've changed today is on the body content area. So we've got a couple situations that come up frequently. The number one is that most people who come to Fluent Community are, and let me change this, by the way, are a little surprised by the fact that Fluent Community out of the box has the feed as the default. And the feed has these things like banners and other stuff show up in it. So it's a little disconcerting because most of us are used to the idea that when you come to a community, you might be able to show whatever you want. So I wanted to return that power to you. So instead of being stuck with just the feed or whatever is called the feed, or just putting a banner into the feed, which, by the way, it's a nice option, but it's not like super duper flexible at this point. Wouldn't it be cool if we could do more? So number one thing is that with Fluent Community Customizer, you can, first of all, just go down here and hide the home feed altogether. Now, the reason you might do that is if you just wanted somebody to come here and not see any of the feed stuff whatsoever, it could be useful for a lot of purposes because maybe you just don't want it. But I don't think that makes as much sense as let's replace it now with something else. We can call it, instead of feed, we can call it my community home base. This allows us to change the feed label here and here. Simple, right? Like stupidly simple, but like a big deal when you're trying to orient people. Next, let's put stuff in there. This is where it gets really fun. There's some styling things that I've included that force, no matter what you do, to cooperate nicely. Forcing 100% vertical height is a nice option if you want to have a billboard, because if your content doesn't fill, it will nicely change that. And likewise, if you want to include some theme elements for styling, like if you're using cadence as the elements, this makes sure that all the CSS and everything else is loaded. I'm going to show you something else interesting, though, which has to do with using a third-party source, Canva. But watch this. So with this, I am able to go ahead and put whatever content that I wish into the space. And what I notice here, this is what's interesting. We are going to do 3 in a row. Let's try first ordinary stuff. So ordinary text. Notice that I've included the good old-fashioned tiny PNG editor, because this gives me a lot of control, and I've made it so that it's able to take JavaScript or HTML. It could take short codes, but it can also just do ordinary text. So if I just go ahead and put in ordinary text, I say hide the home feed and change the label. Now what I end up with, and forgive me for going slow because I just wrote this literally this morning. Now what I end up with is ordinary text in the space. It doesn't look good because it's just text, but obviously you can use just common sense, and we can style this with the WYSIWYG editor. We can do some basic stuff. We could turn it into a quote, and we can use the color controls. I mean, this is very old school, right? But why does it have to be more complicated, right? So let's try it just simpler to more complex. That's why I'm doing this as a live video. Okay. So now when I refresh, I've got like the, the quote thing. The color still isn't changed, but we can change the color. Let's make it pink, red. Okay. So I won't belabor the point, but just giving you an idea. It's really simple enough for my mom to do. Boring. Okay. Let's do another option. Let's get rid of the WYSIWYG. And using the same stuff that we've hidden the normal feed and we've changed the label, let's put in a post, either an element that we've created in Cadence or a full page. So we can just pick an element that I've created and or a page that I've created, and I can put that in there instead into the homepage of the community. This would be really awesome for doing things like sales pages or offers or conditional control of stuff that we can do dynamically with marketing automation. So I'm just picking a rando page. I'm going to put it in place. And here's the rando page. This is just an element. What did I choose? I chose AI generated page. So let's go look at that page, and then we can modify it and see how this works. So if we look at the page, it's just an ordinary WordPress page, but the Fluent Community Customizer has enough logic built into it to know what to include and what to remove, because I want to make this super duper easy for you guys. It shouldn't be like bouncing around 9 million menus. What I actually am doing here is also crossing the streams a la Ghostbusters. Notice this feature here. See where it says placeholder here? This is another feature that I'm releasing as part of my updates to the Minute Launch software bundle, which is called, what did I call it? This is called Cadence Placeholder. This is where, imagine you've got a bunch of templates. I'm throwing a lot of shit at you guys today. A lot of templates. And instead of having to change all of those, or a lot of patterns, instead of having to change all of those, what if they just had magical words that were placeholders like this one did? The word is placeholder here. Okay. Imagine that you had an interface where you could have like the old fashioned Mad Libs game when I was a kid, all these placeholders for things you want to replace for yourself or for clients. So you can make a million different copies of that pattern, and everything is easily fixed just by going to this interface. Think of it like a specific ACF custom fields thing, but that's very lightweight and built for purpose. So if I wanted to change the name of this, it'd be called, wow, get this product. Whatever I put here will instantly change what is in this page when it is displayed on the front. So when we go back here, I'm able to immediately change this content using an interface that's simple enough for somebody on my team to use, and that could be shown visibly to my team without exposing the rest. But that's not my main purpose in showing you that. The main purpose in showing you that is that I've got a template here that I can customize 6 ways to Sunday. And because I'm using that as what's shown on the homepage, it allows me to have free reign with my page builder and put anything I want in the background. Let's put this dude on the background. Okay. And let's change the call to action, and we'll change it to outline style. Okay. Simply by doing that, I'm able to change what's on the homepage of my community. Super simple. Even better, I could use all of the conditional controls now that are available to me using Fluent CRM, using WP Fusion, using the block visibility. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into terrible details about this, but if I use my block visibility, or I use conditional display, or I use things based upon tags, I've got control over all of this stuff, and I can make different layouts for different people with different situations, all within the front page of my community. So for example, if I did add before, there's this conditional section from Fluent CRM or a similar one from WP Fusion. I can have this show up for some people and that show up for other people based upon various conditions, not the least of which is, do they have a particular tag, right? Do you have example tag 1? You'll see this. If you don't, you won't. Okay. Let's take it further, because this is awesome. But what if you're one of the trillion people who loves Canva, and you've got a team of marketers who only know how to work in Canva? I'm getting goosebumps. I'm so excited about this. What if we just made content in Canva and displayed that in the homepage of our community? Because then we can make crazy cool, beautiful designs for anything using all of the Canva tools. And as simple as copy paste, you can have that display. Let's give it a try. First of all, you go to the homepage, you can create a design, and the design tools here are infinite. So you can do anything you want, anything you want. What I would suggest you're going to do is probably use the website template stuff. And you can use anything that's beautiful, but you want something that probably is a single page and is for selling, right? So we can do, let's see if retail shows something. Let's pick any crazy design. I want something that's got like a cool look and feel. Here we go. Let's just use this. Okay. Now, the call to action you can build into this, but you can also use the tool that I just showed you for placeholders. So you can make this a placeholder text, and it can be replaced without having to go into Canva. Are you following with me? There's some craziness afoot, but the idea is that you can mix and match all of these worlds as easily as I'm showing you here. So in this particular case, if I ungroup this and I want to just like do the old fashioned way, I can just take this button and I can turn this into a link or whatever I want to do, right? So let's add a link and let's send it to wplaunchify.com shop or something, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Okay. I can take this and now all I have to do is publish it, or I can share it. If I publish it, it can be a standalone thing I can go to separately, but I can also just share the information and use it as an embed, which is just as good. So if I go here, again, there's a million ways to do this. Just see all, click on embed. It's going to give you the markup. And just take the markup at the top. Okay. And then what we're going to do is go back over to the Fluent Community Customizer. Let's go back here. And now we're going to remove the option of embedding the local stuff, and I'm going to do enter WYSIWYG. Notice I put notes that said, if a post is selected above, that will take precedent. So we want to be in text mode. We paste this in. Now, you don't need the little accreditation at the bottom. And I know from looking at this, we probably want to just make sure that like the margin top has 0, just because we want it to be tight. But if you're scared of HTML, don't worry. This can all be set up just as it is. And for this, we don't need to force anything. We're just going to use it as is. And we're going to change my community home base to be, there's a sale. Or let's see, sale is on. Okay. Save changes. Watch this. This just is where I'm losing my mind with how exciting this is as a marketer. Okay. Now I've got a fully functional design that was created by my marketing team or by AI that could have a dynamic link for the button that when people click on it, takes them to where I want them to go. And those links can be tracked with dynamic UTM codes and other variables, which, you guessed it, can be picked up inside of my tracking software inside of the site. So what I've essentially got is now the ability to create a private or a public community with content that is variable. And by the way, I'm not done with the features. The content can come from an element, a template, HTML, regular text, Canva, You can have an AI tool create it and design it. It can be dynamic. All of this merges all of these worlds into one thing. I'm in like fantasy island time. I mean, that's why I had to do this as a stream. But wait, if you do want to show the stream, the live feed, just turn it off on this hiding and it will show up below for the moment. So that if you still want to show the stream, it's still there. This is just like above or below it. You've got the important stuff showing first. Now, I can use this for navigation menus. I can use this for sales tables, but also that streaming feed. This can all be, and probably will by me, be turned into a shortcode as well. So you could repurpose it. You can reconfigure it into the rest of this. Now, this really changes the game, because what I was showing you on Friday's webinar, live office hours, is that I have shortcodes and things that allow you to just essentially build a library of products. And then all of the details of what you're selling can be changed with a particular link. And you don't actually have to show any of the live products. You can just show whatever you want as a button or a link, and you can do it anywhere, including your Canva design. So you can throw a particular product to the shopping cart for a particular price. Let me show you what I mean. If I go back in the back end of this, let's go to a product that I have here. You can do this on WP Launchify as well. So you can do it across site, but let's just go here for now. And let's see if I actually have products. Hold on. If I don't, I'll use products from WP Launchify. Let's just edit this test product. And one of the things that's really cool, that's kind of meta, is we can repurpose this, because we can download this in whatever form we want, just as a static image, right? And I'm going to limit it to 180 kilobits, so it's not too huge. I'll make it a little smaller, okay? And I'm going to download it as a PNG. So I know it's just going to be ready to use as my product thumbnail. I'm going to set that as the product image. Notice I could also use the Media Hub library here, which I showed that we're offering as a way to have one location to essentially hold all of your media for anything you're creating. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here just as a quick placeholder. This is local, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to keep this product set to 0. There's an important reason for this, and I'm going to change the name from test product to coming soon product. All right, so it's set to 0. With launch flows, I can tell it where to go for a checkout, right? And I can have a thank you page that's also custom. I don't really care what the template is, because I'm not going to actually use the product. I'm not going to display the product. We can apply a tag here if you buy this. So we'd say purchased coming soon product. Notice how all of this is so nicely integrated into one logical thing. In other words, I'm only making one product, and I'm not doing much except setting up the basics, right? So purchased coming soon, and I'll just click add new. So now I've got a new tag. That's basically all I need to do. Now here's the magic trick. I'm going to take the direct to checkout link for this. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to edit it slightly to add the price. And in doing so, I'm going to add that back into the design. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do for the price. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to take up at the top where it's add to cart. Let's use a text editor. Text editor online. So I can make this really super huge for you. Okay. Why is that giant thing? There it is. Okay. Here's the product add to cart from launch flows. Let's just add and donation equals, and let's say we're going to charge $1,000 for it. Okay. I just take that link. I use that as my HTML link here, right? So I can just edit the link. say done. I'm going to reshare. I could publish this too, but I'm just going to reshare it so that I get the accurate link as the embed. Okay, copy. And now what I'm going to do is go back to my Fluent Community Customizer and just republish that HTML because I updated it. Now, this is where that neat little placeholder idea is, right? So imagine if the link had the placeholder word in there and all we need to do is just change that link locally. But this is pretty easy as well. And like I say, you can just get rid of the little attribution at the bottom that says made by Spencer Foreman on Canva. And I'm going to change this here again, so that the margin at the top, I just know should be 0. No big deal. Save this. And now what I've got is I've got a community where the first thing people see is an offer for coming soon product. And if they click the link, it automatically sends that product directly to the checkout with the custom price. Now I'm going to do it again because I already had I've been doing a lot of testing today. I had a million things in the cart. So let me empty the cart. And by the way, there's another parameter we could put on here. We could just have the parameter of empty cart equals yes, and it will get rid of everything. That's another trick that we can use. But let's do that one more time. I'm going to go to the community. Somebody comes along and they don't belong to your community yet, but you're showing them this homepage, or they don't have your product yet. You want them to get it. They click, it will send that product with that price and that offer with whatever conditions you need directly to the checkout, which means that you can use different pricing for different people. You can use different labels and different names, and different things will show up conditionally based upon where they're from and what time of day and what have they done before if they're in your list. All of this can then be saved and stored and recorded as metadata for the order, for the user, which then comes back. And again, get ready for mind blown. Like on any of the orders, I can do through my AI integration, I could say, tell me who has, purchased anything recently. Okay. And then you choose the prompt template, which is, WP Launchify, and I've set it up as me, and I can create a response, either internal or a formal letter or a support ticket. And this is going to use whichever engine I want. That's going to search my own data and give me back the answer I need, whether I want to talk about it, publish it, share it, give an email, generate a voice output. But now I've got like everything under the sun that I want to use here. Oh, by the way, the reason that didn't work is I have to go ahead and I have to put in one of the post types, right? So if I change this slightly to tell me the names of the people I've recently responded to. Okay, because I have to either use a summary file or I have to tell it which post type that I want to use. Let's submit that again, and it will give me that information. And this is still being worked on, but this has a mobile application and everything. So here's the available responses, and I could use this in whatever format. I can create an email or a voice script out of it, do the same thing, right? So in other words, generate something that fits what I want to do with it, which means that I, as a solopreneur, have access to something that, like, I don't have to leave my WordPress ecosystem. More importantly, it's something that I can dynamically create and share with the world, simply changing a couple things, right? Like literally speaking, I don't have to dig into the patterns. I don't have to dig into the guts of all the products. I can have just placeholder products with a name, a featured image, and a $0 amount. I can have patterns and things that have placeholder images. I can have the Fluent Community, which looks and feels and acts exactly as I want. And now I can integrate any of the content of my WordPress site into here in a dynamic way that is mobile responsive and whatnot. I also added a new feature here, which hopefully shows, that allows the menus to gracefully respond. Notice how the menus now, I mean, it's hard to see maybe, but like the menus overlap each other properly, right? And obviously we can still use the mobile responsive menus, but like for the internal menus of Fluent Community, I made it so they gracefully just overlap and everything will still properly show and function. You don't need mobile applications. That whole buddy boss thing is no longer relevant. So I'm hoping that this is exciting to you guys, because quite frankly, I'm just like crazy overjoyed. This is going to be released this morning. I've got Ann Stevenson and a couple other people who are working with me that are clients, helping to document all these features into simple recipe cards that will be used with the content that is a list of ingredients, so that any of the things you see here can be built and understood in a matter of just minutes, and you don't have to start from scratch. Last but not least, one other experiment that I'm doing, it's too far ahead to say anything about it, but one of the things is I've been promising Launch Flows 5.0. Because I have so much capability now built into the other tools, Launch Flows as an engine is really important. It allows a multitude of things to happen. But what I'm thinking of doing is creating from there a short code generator that allows you to just use the same AI tools or just use some logic to take whatever products you have as placeholders and any things you want to achieve and just generate the short codes that you can then spit out. And when integrated with the placeholders, you can imagine that that's going to be very easy, because you can have, let's say, an Airtable or a spreadsheet that you just sit at all day long, and you change some variables and it essentially refactors everything and re-inputs it to your site connected to that placeholder where it should be. Like, here's an example. Let's say you have a sale and there's 50 products that you want to sell and you're on product 39. You can change the price dynamically based upon the sales data connected to Metoric. I mean, I know I'm talking fast. I just had some coffee, but this is the kind of stuff that like makes WordPress amazing when you stop thinking in the box and you start thinking out of the box. In particular, things like using Canva to create awesome design stuff, because like there's a billion people out there that know how to use Canva that can make amazing stuff. It can even be full-blown little mini websites that you can now put into the front of your community, but connect it to the tools and the features of your users and your marketing automation and so forth. Anyway, this has been fun. I'm going to hopefully you guys leave some comments when you see this, where you see this, if you've enjoyed this. And the Fluent Community Customizer is available today. And let me go back over here. If you go to WP Launchify, I had to have a conversation about this with Shah Jahan. WP Launchify is an agency, and what I offer is essentially this as a kit. I'm recalling this. This is what the new branding is. Minute Launch is the brand. Minute Launch Software Bundle, Minute Launch Community, Minute Launch Hosting, Email. But if you just get the bundle, $97 a month includes all of the software you need. So the Fluent Community Customizer is available for $47 a month as part of the software bundle, or if you get the larger thing, it's included in there. But by popular request, I've also made it as a standalone. You can buy it and it's fully supported for a year. We're on version 1.53. Today it'll be 1.54. So you can get it today at WP Launchify. Just go to the shop page and grab this, or go to Fluent Community Customizer in the link. This has been fun. I'm going to go off and work out and continue working on some other stuff today. It's an amazing snowy day. Hope you have fun. I'll see you on the next video or live event. Ciao.